Hi guys, I wanted to speak on gossip a little bit because I feel like the Spirit had to convict me of something that I recently did. It's just really been showing up in my life. And there was a Christian influencer that recently left. And though I don't think the Father minds that I said something about the situation, but how far I took the situation was not appropriate. And it started to lead into slander. And so I apologize for that. But this gossip thing it keeps rearing itself in my life. And I've been asking the Father concerning the line with gossip and slander and exposing evil, because, we can expose certain false prophets and false apostles and that kind of thing. Is it gossip? Is it slander? I don't think it is, because I do think the Father wants us to know who is false and who is real. He says, go to a brother and correct them on their sin. If they don't listen, bring another person. And if they still don't listen, then I think at that point you can rebuke them in front of the congregation, so other people fear. And then also they just need to be exposed in general. And so, but I think that's the furthest you probably want to take it. So I'm going to start here with James 4:11. I'm not really sure of the full situation going on here, but it says, brothers, do not speak against one another. He that speaks against a brother and judges his brother speaks against Torah and judges Torah. And if you judge Torah, you are not a doer of Torah, but a judge. And so, this is also in the Torah, which is the first 5 books of Moses. That's what people like to call it. I'm going to check out Leviticus 19:16. Let's see. Leviticus 19:16. Do not go slandering among your people. Do not stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yah. Do not hate your brother in heart. Reprove your neighbor for certain and bear no sin because of him. And so, you are allowed to reprove your neighbor, but to slander him, that's not okay, because what ends up happening is rumors and gossip, and then all of a sudden it goes from this to like this, from this to this, and a bunch of different things can get spread that might not even be true. And so it's interesting, though, because it says, who are you to judge your neighbor? I think this was referring to a specific situation over in James, because we are supposed to judge our neighbor, but we're supposed to judge them in righteousness. So I remember there's a young lady, and she has cancer, and I had cancer too. And God healed me of it, and He healed me of it not through doctors or hospitals or chemotherapy, but literally through following His word and His instruction. Torah means instruction. And so, I went to this young lady to tell her she shouldn't be going to doctors and that she should be going to God for her healing, because He says, I'm the one that protects you from disease and I'm the one that heals you. And so, she ignored my message. But at the end of the day, when I went to see these other people associated with her, it was real awkward. And I can tell, maybe they had been talking about the situation behind my back. And so I was like, okay, well, I see what's going on here type deal. You don't even know what happened with the situation, yet you're over here telling me, what I should do and acting awkward around me. And so, these kinds of things we want to avoid, because first off, there should be no respecter of persons. And second off, what I'm saying is true. But, who knows if what these people were saying were true or not. And that's the thing. You got to be careful with the gossip and the slander, and you just avoid it. And this is different than, say, you're talking about Joel Osteen or TD people that are obviously false prophets and false teachers. We want people to know that these people are false so they don't get led astray. And so in that case, it's not gossiping, it's not slander, it's actually exposing evil, exposing these people in general. So the next verse is Exodus 21:1. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong and to be a malicious witness. And that's kind of what happened with the girl in the situation. They became malicious witnesses, not knowing the word of God, and not standing on the word of God, but standing on, oh, well, I like her, and, I feel bad for her, or whatever the deal is, But at the end of the day, you siding with her when she's not following the word of God concerning her healing is not going to help your situation. You therefore become a malicious witness when you're speaking against people that are actually trying to show her the way of God. So Proverbs 11:13. A slanderer is a revealer of secrets, but one with a trustworthy spirit conceals a matter. So I think this is just, don't really gossip about people, If people say someone's in some kind of sexual sin, and they tell you in secret, and you go in and talk about it to everyone, that's showing that you hate your brother. You're revealing secrets, you're slandering them. And so what you want to do is keep that matter between you and them. Then you will be considered a trustworthy person. That's a smart thing to do. And the last one is Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt word come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for the use of building up, so as to impart what is pleasant to the hearers. So yeah, I think this is something that I've been convicted on lately. I've been perturbed with the Christian church because, his people perish because of lack of knowledge. And because of that, and you're constantly going to them and telling them the truth, and they want to kill you spiritually and all this kind of stuff, it's like, well, it gets tiring, I feel. And so, you're trying to save these people's souls, and they don't get it because they're under this bondage of false Christian doctrine, bondage of false shepherds, and just wanting to do their own will and not wanting to do God's will. But, the same thing happened in the Bible with his people. They put him to death because he told them the truth. But myself, I needed to learn, because with that particular Christian influencer, and with the people that were trying to protect him, I kind of started going off the handle a little bit because I was just annoyed that they weren't sticking to the word. And because the lack of adherence to the word, people end up falling away. They deceive others because they are deceived. But yeah, I'm learning that sometimes you don't necessarily need to say everything that God has taught you, but just what that person needs to hear in that moment, and that's going to work out the best for them. But yeah, you should always be asking what God wants you to say to someone at any time. So anyway, just be careful, guys. You're supposed to love